Time for a crypto market update, August 15th, morning edition 2025. You want to be successful in crypto? Well, you need to learn how to anticipate liquidity. Liquidity is the lifeblood of all risk-on assets, and it's very much controlled by the titans of our financial world. One of the most obvious examples of those titans is the Federal Reserve that was created here in the United States in 1913. It's a private banking system that we relinquished control to, basically, and now is responsible for basically greasing the wheels for the entire economy and thus the entire global economy, thanks to Bretton Woods post-World War II. Now, here's where it gets interesting because you need to know something called the Federal Reserve reverse repo. The reverse repo facility is one of a few major opportunities for liquidity to actually be available in the marketplace. Now, I'm about to get to something really exciting and really beneficial, so hang in there with me. And by the way, if this kind of stuff is helpful to you, please put a number 4 in the comments and maybe bookmark this. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that this is helpful. Now, there's something going on with the reverse repo facility that you're just not going to hear any of your neighbors talking about or your coworkers. They're not waking up in the morning concerned about the reverse repo facility. But as a crypto investor, you definitely want to know what's going on with reverse repo. Now, what is the reverse repo? Well, to put it really simply, it's where the Federal Reserve overnight lends to major banks at a certain amount of money, and because they can make more money doing that rather than in alternative opportunities. And they do that by buying U.S. Treasury bonds and as kind of like an IOU, and then the next day the banks pay them back with a little bit of interest. In a childish example, imagine a librarian with more books than they need, and you have children who need books, and the librarian provides the book, and then the next day the kid reads it and returns it with a little piece of candy. So the Federal Reserve typically keeps the reverse repo balance stocked really well because it acts as liquidity that injects into the marketplace even when there's not some big stimulus happening or some world global catastrophe. You might remember this stuff is just happening behind the scenes. And here's the big news. The big news is that the Federal Reserve Bank reverse repo facility is very low on funds, which means there's less and less liquidity available, which usually corresponds with a lack of liquidity in the market or quantitative tightening, which is when the Federal Reserve is prioritizing the selling of securities rather than the purchasing of securities. The last time that the reverse repo facility was this low was in 2019, and the Federal Reserve promptly injected about $287 billion into the facility to, again, stimulate what's actually happening in the market. And if you have any kind of memory at all, you remember what happened in the following year or so. One of the greatest altcoin seasons we've ever seen and may ever see again. Now, what's interesting to me is the timing of this. If you've ever heard the phrase, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news, this reverse repo balance thing, it's interesting. We'll see. Maybe it aligns with rate cuts. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does, relatively speaking, if you zoom out on a higher time frame over the next 3 to 4 months. However, at the end of the day, as an investor, if you're waiting for the Federal Reserve to top up the liquidity balances, then you're late. It's very important to recognize where you are in the market cycle. If you followed me for any amount of time, you know I always say there's two ingredients in the recipe of building crypto wealth. There's crypto literacy skills And then there's the second thing, which is what we're talking about right now, called market cycle knowledge. Being able to point to some of these big Titan-like forces in the marketplace is very, very important as you're making decisions on capital deployment. And hey, look, I get it. I've been in crypto for 9 years. I didn't know what the reverse repo mortgage was when I first started 9 years ago. As a matter of fact, I wish someone would have told me about it. As a matter of fact, I wish I would have had someone to talk to, a better community, someone who was in the loop, someone who was in the trenches, really pouring their life into this while I was doing my day-to-day tasks. If you're looking for a better mentorship, a better mastermind, a better community, maybe you just feel all alone in the marketplace, you should totally check out cryptoyall.com. Watch my 12-minute overview video, and if you like what you see, schedule a one-on-one video call with me. Otherwise, I think the Federal Reserve, whether they're cutting rates in September or not, I actually really love the fact that the PPI report that came out yesterday or this week was a little hot. And now they might actually have to delay those rate cuts, which means we have a higher for longer bull market. But if they do cut rates, there's a really good chance we have a compressed yet erratic, violent blow off top in the market. So if you want to learn how to build wealth in crypto without becoming a day trader and having to be glued to your screen all day, but more of a position investor who has their money working for them, go to cryptoyall.com and check it out. And I'll see you on the other side. And hey, like and follow for more.